All of our productions at GCTV are brought to you in part by The Arbors at Greenfield, assisted living community providing a unique balance of independence and personal care that offers residents and families the most precious gift of all, peace of mind. Bay State Health, providing the care you and your family need when you need it close to home. Visit them online at baystatehealth.org. Greenfield Community College, providing access and excellence in higher education in the Pioneer Valley. gcc.mass.edu. Greenfield Savings Bank. Visit them at 400 Main Street in Greenfield. Call them at 774-3191 or go online to greenfieldsavings.com. The Hammond Family. The Hammond family are longtime supporters of Greenfield Community Television. Real Cleaning Services, cleaning Hampshire and Franklin County since 1972. We don't cut corners, we clean them. Check them out online at realclean.com or call them at 413-422-1143. New Fortune Chinese Restaurant on the Mohawk Trail in Greenfield. Visit them online at newfortunema.com. Call them at 772-0838 and check them out on Facebook. People's United Bank, located at 45 Federal Street in Greenfield. You can call them at 774-3713 or visit them online at peoples.com. Thank you to our sponsors for supporting all the productions at Greenfield Community Television.
We've got everybody in off the road. If we could get started now. We'd like to post the colors. Colors will be posted by the Northfield VFW. Post. Got a good-sized crowd today because of the weather, so I hope you can all hear back there fine. All right, we got a speaker system that works now. Thank you for coming, and thank you to all our veterans and our elected officials and all the groups that participated today, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Mass National Guard, our VFWs, the DAV, some of our miscellaneous service members, both active and retired, that showed up today, and the Elks. And a reminder before everybody leaves today that as all the holidays, the Elks will be serving light refreshments. We also have Veterans Network United has hot cider in the back here for everybody. And I don't want any children to leave here today unless you take one of these flags that are stuck in the ground today. How many veterans are here today? Raise your hands. Thank you. Now, looking on the past hectic days that we've had here, how many of you veterans have rioted, burned the U.S. flag, or took a time out to draw pictures to deal with your post-election issues? Any of you? None. I thought not. We veterans must be strong for our country and once again set the proper examples for those we agreed to defend and die for. Regardless of what your political convictions are, we as veterans must be proud and we must defend this country, just like we were called on to do in the past, and which we would willingly do again. So please set the example for America once again. And now to introduce our guest speaker, I'd like to introduce Councilor Moss.
Thank you so much, all of you who come here today. Especially thank you for bringing your children. I tell all of our veterans every year that this parade, as much as it is for you, it's for the children so that they can see what service means. I appreciate you all for coming out today. I'm thankful to the mayor for letting me speak as a representative of the Greenfield Town Council. 1/3 of your Greenfield Town Council are veterans. I think it's the highest percentage of veteran representation we've had on the Greenfield Town Council in many years. I was asked to speak mostly to introduce our speaker today. Our speaker is Sergeant Major Peter Guillaud, Greenfield resident, lives in town, works in town, has worked as a speech doctor in town for many, many years. He was my first sergeant for the 8 years that I served in B Company 104th Infantry, deployed with me to Bosnia-Herzegovina in 2001, immediately after September 11th. And he's had additional deployments after that. He is someone who has commanded the respect of all of those who've served with him. He has embodied the example of what a non-commissioned officer is. He's done nothing, he's asked no soldier to do anything that he would not do himself, and has set an amazing example for those who served with him. And moreover, he has cared not only about his soldiers for their tactical and proficiency, he's also cared about them as individuals and about their families. He has been instrumental in making sure that family readiness was available for the families of the loved ones here in Greenfield and throughout Western Massachusetts for soldiers who deploy. I'm very proud to call on the man who I know as top Sergeant Major Peter Guillaud.
Thank Thank you, Isaac. I really appreciate that introduction. And thank you very much to Mayor Martin for being here and all our elected officials as well. Give a hand to the Greenfield High School Marching Band. What a great job they did today. Phenomenal. I love it when they come out. Fantastic. And also to the American Legion and the VFW. What a great job organizing this. Greatly appreciated for all the support that you bring to this event. It wasn't always like this, actually. Back in 1932, Franklin Delano Roosevelt had a demonstration on his hands in Washington, D.C. by veterans of World War I who were looking for bonuses. They weren't treated very nicely, actually. He called out the U.S. Army and the Washington police to move them off the mall. A couple of veterans were killed. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, no person, because he wore a uniform, must thereafter be placed in a special class of beneficiaries over and above other citizens. Well, Roosevelt would later prove himself to be a great wartime commander-in-chief. What he and others failed to realize at the time is that veterans weren't really asking to be a part of a special class. They just wanted a shot at the American dream that they fought so hard to defend. I really, really believe that most Americans truly love our veterans, especially at gatherings like this on Veterans Day or a Memorial Day. And while their feelings are usually sincere, it's important to remember that veterans are defending us 365 days a year. The heroism that's been demonstrated time and again by veterans from the American Revolution to the global war on terrorism is sometimes unnoticed by those of us who enjoy the security that their sacrifices provided. Many veterans, our nation was important enough to endure long separations from their family, miss the births of their children, freeze in sub-zero temperatures, bake in deserts, sacrifice their health and sometimes their lives. Military spouses have always endured the career interruptions, frequent changes of address, and a disproportionate share of parental responsibilities when their spouses are deployed. And then the children. They often have to deal with changes in schools, separation from friends, and probably hardest of all, the uncertainty of whether their mom or dad would come home from their next combat tour. Hey, you can't fight a war without veterans. And while it's a great idea that society without war would happen, we can't forget that wars have also liberated slaves, stopped genocide, and toppled terrorists. Stephen Ambrose, the guy who wrote Citizen Soldier, said, America's wars have been like rungs in a ladder by which it rose to greatness. No other country has triumphed so long, so consistently, or on such a vast scale through the force of arms. Looking at the Middle East today, we know that there is a large, dangerous, committed group of fanatics that want us dead. Though ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and other terrorists may lack conventional weapons that Nazi Germany or Imperial Japan had, they're every bit as evil in their intentions towards the United States. Veterans don't ask much. They don't want to be in a special class, but benefits are a mere drop in the bucket compared to the financial and human cost of war. And while not all veterans see war, all those who have served in the military, by virtue of their service, have expressed a willingness to fight if called to do so. So how can we show support to these great men and women? Hire a veteran in your workplace, visit a VA hospital, the one down in Leeds, or donate to a veterans program. Companies should understand that it is smart business to hire veterans, and when members of the Guard and Reserves deploy, it is America's business to ensure that when they come back, their civilian careers don't suffer. Fewer than 10% of Americans can really claim the title of veteran. It's fantastic that we have such a great representation on our town council. Fewer than 1% right now of our population is defending us in the global war of terrorism. Yet many politicians seem intent on trying to balance the federal budget by diminishing the quality of life programs designed for the families who have already disproportionately made sacrifices in the cause of our nation. Veterans have given us freedom, security, and the greatest nation on earth. It is impossible to put a price on that. We must remember them, and that's why we're here today, and we must appreciate them, and that's why you're all here today. God bless you all for being here. God bless our veterans, and God bless America.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. On behalf of the Greenfield veterans, we'd like to present you with a small token of our appreciation that one of our volunteers makes. He takes the flags that we pull off the cemeteries every year, and he makes the parade ribbons that a lot of you are wearing, and he also makes these small gifts. They have the tassels, and it has a portion of the flag, and it has a small saying. I am part of our American flag. I can no longer fly. The sun and wind have caused me to become tattered and torn. I am a reminder not to be forgotten. If you'll join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll have the firing detail post.
One step forward, march. Port, horse. Ready. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Attention. Horse. Present. Horse.
And now the playing of the taps. Please stay standing while we play the national anthem. Thank you very much. This is one of the best turnouts we've had in a while. Again, there's light refreshments at the Elks building, and Veterans Network United has cider here. And you kids, make sure you grab your flags before you leave. So, color guards, if you can retire the colors.
Hang on.
Hang on, I goofed up. I forgot something. I'm sorry. It being the 50th anniversary of the beginning of large deployments of troops to Vietnam, 1966 is when the first large contingents were put on the ground, even though we were there since the late 50s. We want to not forget that this is the 50th year that large contingents went into place there. So if we could have Sergeant Phelps place the wreath in front of the Vietnam Memorial for us. Sergeant Phelps is one of our local Vietnam veterans. Thank you, Sergeant Phelps. Every year we remember veterans on this day, but as the Sergeant Major said, you need to think about veterans every day. A lot of the young folks won't know that this was originally called Armistice Day. On November 11th, at the 11th hour of 1918 is when World War I was brought to a close. Usually at 11 o'clock all across the country, they would have a moment of silence. Today we're a little before that, but if you join me in a quick moment of silence commemorating the end of World War I and hopefully the end of future wars. Thank you. Now, color guard, if you can retire the colors.
Color guard, yeah. Belt face. Forward, up.
That's it. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Sergeant Major.
All of our productions at GCTV are brought to you in part by The Arbors at Greenfield, assisted living community providing a unique balance of independence and personal care that offers residents and families the most precious gift of all, peace of mind. Bay State Health, providing the care you and your family need when you need it close to home. Visit them online at baystatehealth.org. Greenfield Community College, providing access and excellence in higher education in the Pioneer Valley. gcc.mass.edu. Greenfield Savings Bank. Visit them at 400 Main Street in Greenfield. Call them at 774-3191 or go online to greenfieldsavings.com. The Hammond Family. The Hammond family are longtime supporters of Greenfield Community Television. Real Cleaning Services, cleaning Hampshire and Franklin County since 1972. We don't cut corners, we clean them. Check them out online at realclean.com or call them at 413-422-1143. New Fortune Chinese Restaurant on the Mohawk Trail in Greenfield. Visit them online at newfortunema.com. Call them at 772-0838 and check them out on Facebook. People's United Bank, located at 45 Federal Street in Greenfield. You can call them at 774-3713 or visit them online at peoples.com. Thank you to our sponsors for supporting all the productions at Greenfield Community Television.